In today's blood-curdling review, we're going to be having a look at the Trick or Treat Studios. This is the Halloween 2018 Michael Myers replica mask. Like I said, I picked this up over at Trick or Treat Studios. Really nice company. I will say, though, that is really expensive. Not so much necessarily for the fact, well, the mask on its own, if you're looking at my invoice here, I ordered this way back. I want to say in August, maybe it was even before August. So I've been waiting several months for this to be shipped. And the due date was September 14th, 2018. But I just wanted to show you that the mask, 2018 Michael Myers mask, was $59.99. Now, factoring in that as well, that's $59.99 US dollars. So I'd have to convert that to Canadian. Then there was also the shipping charges of $34.84. Totally, I guess that works out to be $94.83. Again, that's $94.83, the deposit I put down for the shipment of this mask, and that's in US dollars. I'm no mathematician, so off the top of my head, I don't know what that translates to in Canadian dollars. I want to say that's about about 134, probably about a little under $140 for this mask, and it finally arrived. And I have had it for a couple of days now. And I thought to myself, if anything, it's Halloween after all. I'm going to wait until Spooky Spots, until we're going to have a look at this mask, and that's what we're doing right now. Currently, I've just got it on my turntable, and I've also got it sitting on top of my black mannequin head. It came included with a little tag, Halloween, and there's a little read-up on the inside. Let's have a look at that. Yes, there's a whole bunch of warnings and care instructions. Never wear a mask while operating any type of vehicle. Okay, that makes sense. Use caution when wearing a mask. Vision and hearing can be somewhat impaired. Remove mask when crossing streets, and be careful when using stairs. Mask should never be worn as a safety helmet. That's some crucial information. Not recommend for children under age of 10. Care instructions: never store mask in direct sunlight. Keep away from extreme hot or cold. After wearing, cleanse inside of mask with damp sponge once dry. Dust inside with cornstarch or other non-talc powder. Sweat and oils from skin can break down the natural latex. Never scrub or submerge mask in water. If dusty, wipe with a dry cloth or leather duster. Wipe hair and damp washcloth and restyle if as needed. And then it says, if better visibility is required, use sharp scissors to increase the size of the eye holes. If you follow these care instructions, your Trick or Treat Studios mask will last for many years to come. And spinning the tag around, the mask was sculpted by Christopher Nelson, Vincent Van Dyke, and Justin Nabry, or that might be Mabry. And then you have Trick or Treat Studios, and then www.trickortreatstudios.com. Likely for the time being, I'm going to keep the tag on the mask because I don't plan on wearing this out. If anything, this is going to be a show mask I'm going to put on a mannequin head similar to what I've currently got right now, and it's going to be a display piece around Halloween, and then I'll store it away like I've done with my other Halloween masks over the course of time. Now, this is coming to us from Trick or Treat Studios. To the credit of Trick or Treats, they certainly do put a lot more care into the pieces that they are releasing. And the 2018 Michael Myers mask is no exception. Obviously, the big thing that I draw my attention to first and foremost versus retail store masks is the level of hair, the amount of hair that they put on Michael Myers here. Now, I may go back and re-review the Halloween Rob Zombie mask. Maybe I'll do that this year for a spooky spot. But if you remember, that hair piece, basically there was a cut right on the top here and a strand of hair, and it was glued really only on the top of the mask. You could literally peel it up, and I think it was 2 layers. 1 layer at the top, 1 layer at the bottom, and this whole section here was bare. Now, one thing about Trick or Treat, what it seems like they've done is they've glued a permanent amount of hair already to the back of the mask itself. And then they've got separate pieces of hair that can sit freely on its own. One thing is that you'll never have the embarrassing Donald Trump hair blow up, in which you're going to see like the bald cowling, the bald mask underneath there. So I will say right off the bat, spending a little bit extra that as I did for this mask, I'm already happier with the way that the hair is. The hair is full. And even though you can't move many of the actual strands of hair, a lot of it is glued down, but at the very least, you're not going to get embarrassed by, like I said, all these little bald spots happening on the back. At the time of shooting this review, I have yet to see 2018's Halloween. I am super, super excited for that. I have to admit, and I will refrain from mentioning it in this video because that's more or less just a rant, but I'm not really too thrilled with the fact that it's only a direct sequel to the first one. At the very least, it should have played the other sequels as part of its lore, because I think it would have made a much stronger case as to why 40 years later Laurie Strode still holds on to the notion that Michael Myers is going to get out and he's going to come after her. But that's going to be something I'm going to maybe keep as a separate topic of interest. In the meantime, I want to just really focus on this mask and how it looks versus what we've so far seen in the movie. And again, I don't really have a lot to base it from because I haven't seen the movie just yet. But I'm pretty happy with this mask. There are elements to it that I'm not perfectly happy with. It's not a 100% perfect mask, but overall it's a pretty decent looking, older mask that, of course, Nick Castle and a couple of individuals wore in the original Halloween. It does look like it could be an older version of that mask. If we even just compare it to the tag, and even from footage we've seen from the trailers, this mask does come across a little bit more cream-colored than it does white. That is one thing that I wish that this mask might have been different with. Maybe a slightly lighter shade, and not as coming across maybe yellow. I thought maybe it's just the way that the camera and the lighting is picking up here when I'm reviewing it, but I have to say in hand, the mask does come across a little bit more cream colored than it does white. Even if you compare it to the tag itself, the tag, the mask that they show in the trailer and the picture based on here, you can clearly see if I put it side to side, the tag versus the mask, that the mask is definitely a little bit more yellow in color. I do like the aging that they've added to the mask here, just given it that sense that it would have aged over the course of time. One nice little Easter egg, if you move that up, is the sewing needle that had been punctured at the side of Michael Myers' neck is now here actually on the mask. It's also in the trailer there as well. I like that they've put that in this mask, so it does show that there is some obvious research to the mask itself when they were making this, and I love that. I love how it's just got this little needle hole on the side of the mask, which is almost concealed when you've got the tag draping in front of it. If I could be overly critical, and I know at times it may sound like I am, I do think that the mask is a little too tarnished or a little too wrinkly. I know it does age over the course of the years that it hasn't been used, but I don't think the mask here almost makes it look a little bit more mummified than it does in the movie. And again, I'm only really comparing it here just to the tag as just a comparison point. There are still smooth elements in the movie-made mask, like the area around the nose, the area around the cheeks, still should have not as much of this wrinkling. And I feel like this mask almost does a disservice to it because it's got all this unnecessary wrinkling. Even looking at images online of the movie mask, I don't feel it's got as much of the progressive wrinkles and aging that this mask would present here. areas like the cheeks, right above the top of the opened area of the eye sockets, are all areas that I think look smooth in the movie. Here, it really seems like they've put a lot of excess wear and wrinkles to it. It doesn't also help as well the way that they've painted the mask. I'm thinking what they've done is that the mask is a darker color, likely like a darker black or darker gray, and then they've dry brushed, or almost just not fully painted it, but just enough that it hits all those little details, this cream colored paint when they were coloring the mask. As a result, it seems almost more darker than it does lighter, and I feel like it should be the other way around. There's a lot of unnecessary dark colors I feel resonating here on the mask. Areas, again, which I feel should be a little bit more lighter color seem so relegated here with these dark grays, these dark blacks. And again, I do feel like the mask maybe might be a little too wrinkly. Just to show you what I'm talking about, I've got the mask here from Trick or Treat Studios on the left, and on the right, I'm going to pop up an image of the same angle of the mask from the movie. And as you can see right here, there are some things that carry over. Like there is that wrinkle that happens right here above the bridge, right around the eye socket area of the mask, runs up. It's also there on the picture. But as you can see though, if you look at the two, here it's a much more very strong line where his cheekbone starts, like right above his mouth. And then over here, you've got a smooth section of his cheek. Now, that's on that image, that's on the picture. It's not here, unfortunately, on the mask. It almost seems to me like, looking at the two, they kind of had the rough idea of what they wanted the mask to look like, and then they took some generous sort of artist interpretations of what they wanted the mask to look like. Like, I do feel like they took some creative control and some creative luxuries, I think, when it came to making the mask. It's not 100% spot on, and I guess for a $60 price mask, I would have hoped for a little bit more than this. Like I said, areas like the areas right above the lip should be a little bit smoother. The area around the nose should be a little bit smoother. The areas around the cheeks and above on the forehead area should also be smooth. They shouldn't be as excessively wrinkled as they are here. Now again, maybe I'm being overly critical, but when it comes down to a mask that now has set me back about $120 when it was all said and done, I do really want a mask to look a little bit more accurate than it does in the movie. Maybe with lighting and the way the elements, if you are wearing this mask, say outside, maybe it may not look as profound and as detailed as it does here. It just so happens that I've got studio light shining on it right now. But I think it does look off. And what expectation level should I really have when it comes to essentially a Halloween mask? You can always go to direct artists that are producing their own versions of the Michael Myers masks, and those are very screen accurate. Here you're getting something that you've ordered online from a reputable, I will say this, like a reputable Halloween mask supplier and store. But I don't think it's 100% spot on. If anything, I would say that they've done such a good job on the hair, but it feels like the mask might be a slight disappointment. In fact, I'm looking at the mask. It reminds me more almost of the Halloween 5 mask than it does the 2018 mask. Now, certainly take my opinions with a grain of salt. Your opinions may vary from mine, and that's the best part about being a collector, is that you'll have so many varying opinions of whether masks look accurate enough or they could have been better made. To the credit of Trick or Treat Studios, from being the mask made, I think they put a lot of care and quality into their pieces. I've seen a couple of interviews with the owners of Trick or Treat Studios, and they say that they do want to put out high quality pieces that don't have some of the embarrassments that retail store masks do have. And to their credit, I will say that the hair on this mask is some of the best I've seen on a Halloween Michael Myers mask. It looks full. It's never going to be an issue where if the wind hits it a certain way, you're going to see very obvious bald spots, some of which we saw very embarrassingly on the Rob Zombie Halloween mask, which I think I looked at the year before. This mask definitely has better hair applied to it, so I'll give credit to Trick or Treat Studios. As good as the hair may be, I feel like the mask slightly disappoints. It is a little too, quote, mummified for my liking. I think it's a little too dirty also for my liking, and there should have been a lot more areas on the face that were a little bit more smoother, and not every single aspect, not every single square inch of this mask should have had texturing to it. I think by its oversaturation of texturing almost detracts from it looking like a really good Michael Myers mask. Still though, if you guys are interested in picking this one up for yourself, I think again the price point will stay at around a $54 to $55 price point if you are looking to pick this one up over at Trick or Treat Studios. I don't know if they have sole licensing rights to produce this mask, as if you didn't want to go and go online, if you could simply pick this up through a Halloween store. Of the Halloween store that I have checked out so far, if you haven't had a chance to check that out, there's a vlog of my walkthrough of this year's Spirit Halloween store. I have yet to see a 2018 mask. I asked also when I was there if they were planning on getting a 2018 mask, and they said they didn't believe so. So there might be some companies that have the exclusive rights to produce the 2018 Halloween Michael Myers mask, and Trick or Treat Studios may be that company. Either way, if you guys are interested, again, in picking this one up for yourself, I can put the link down below to Trick or Treat Studios. I don't think it's a 100% spot-on mask that Michael Myers wears in Halloween, the 2018 Halloween, but I think it's pretty good, and it's definitely a far cry better than some of the stuff that we're getting in retail stores. Today's spookerific review, the very first one, we were having a look at the Trick or Treat Studios. This was the 2018 Michael Myers replica mask. It's not great, but it's a lot better than some of the stuff that we were getting in stores. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, ghouls and guys. Certainly more videos will be coming your way, of course, over the course of Spottober. This entire month of Spottober, we're going to have a look at a whole bunch of spooky things coming your way. So if you want to keep your eyes peeled, certainly stay tuned. More videos will be coming your way. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.